Blessings crew, and welcome to this week's offering. We're starting standing, so just find your way to the front of your mat. We can do a little bit of grounding just to kind of get ourselves centered, feel like we are in our yoga space. I talk a lot about kind of coming into that yoga space from where you are. And a lot of that is because sometimes we kind of dive straight in and we haven't really tuned into what our body's feeling like that day, and that really impacts our practice and needs to impact our practice. So we want to welcome ourselves onto the mat. What have you been doing in the last couple of days? What have you been doing today? And just noticing your body, how it's feeling. Move around a little bit on your feet, into your hips, into your shoulders. That sense of coming from this part of our body into the rest of our body, all connecting it up. And thinking too about where we are. What's your space like? What's around you? What's the land underneath you tell you? How are you connected to that land? I'm coming to you from the beautiful Ahuriri, and it's a lot of energy in terms of ancestors and stories here. And so, knowing that and linking into that is really important. It's part of our feeling like yoga connects us to ourselves, but also out into the world. And we're going to find our breath. Just come into the breath. You might close your eyes, you might soften your gaze. Just come into just a slowness of breath, an awareness of breath. Let yourself just kind of be present to how the breath moves in your body. We're going to move with the breath initially, just to warm ourselves up or stretch ourselves out, or just kind of get some energy flowing. So blinking, eyes open if you've had them closed. We're going to inhale, bring our arms up. And then exhale, bring them down. And as we inhale up, touch the fingertips to each other, feel that sensation. And then bring those arms down, and we're going to reach behind us, see if we can tap our fingers, and then bring it back up. So as you're coming down, you're noticing that there's a rotation in your shoulders to go that way. And then as we come around to go that way. So feel that, because that's often where we hold some tension. One more, lifting it up. Bring the hands down to the heart space. Little chair pose, tailbone goes backwards. Bring those legs into it. Make sure we've got the comfortable distance between our knees. Big groan from Monty under the table.
Was a big groan.
And so acknowledging your pets if they are part of your practice today. We're going to extend our arms. So tailbone going one way, fingers going the other. And then lifting up slowly. Link those fingers, keep that lift going upwards, like we're going to take off. And then bring those arms back down. Take these feet a little bit further apart. So under hips, maybe just a little bit wider. Same idea, we're going to bring our hands to our heart. Taking our tailbone back, knees nice and lined up with our ankles, so we're not knocking them inwards or taking them too far out. We're going to reach our arms up. Then we're going to exhale. Then we're going to inhale. And we're going to exhale, so we're starting to warm up the muscles along the spine. One more, lifting up. And come all the way up. And this time we're taking our right hand down, our left arm reaches, and we're lifting up through the ribs. Turn and look under that left arm if there's some room. Feel the breath moving the stretch through the body. Inhale, come up slow. Exhale, take it over slowly, lifting up through the ribs. Bring it back to center. Come back down into that variation squat chair pose. Tailbone, untucking, pushing back. And we're going to bring our hands down. I'm just going to slowly start to lift the hips. We can walk our hands back up our legs if those hamstrings are a bit tight. We'll leave them down, let the head drop, let the face relax. Sinking down into the hips. Bring those arms up, let yourself lift up slowly. Reaching it all the way up and then out. We're going to go wide on the mat. So taking those legs out nice and wide, comfortably wide too. We're going to do full fold work, so we need to feel comfy. And we also need to feel like we can move. So don't be locked in place. I think quite often we tighten up in all the wrong places, so give everything a bit of a jiggle. We're going to lift up through the belly, take the arms up and just out wide from the shoulders. And then drop the shoulder blades down, reach out through the fingers. Just feel that strength in your shoulders and in your arms. So we're going to turn our palms up. We're going to inhale, come up. We're going to link our fingers. We're just going to go round in this beautiful circle. Drawing that circle with those fingers. Carefully lifting up as we go round and down. Inhale on the way up. Exhale on the way down. So that's how slow we're going to make those circles. One more in this direction. All the way up to the top. And then change direction, go around the other way. Really feel the breath. Amazing circling of the body. We come up to center this time. Spread those arms back out. We're going to come around to the halfway mark. So spine nice and parallel with your floor. Soften your knees. Just give them a little dance. Untuck that tailbone, so make sure we're nice and long in those hamstrings. Breathe. And then slowly, if there's room, roll around those hips. Slide the hands down to wherever we reach. Let the head go, let the shoulders go. We're walking our hands back up, so up to that halfway mark. Extend along the spine. Soften into the knees a little bit as we come up. And open these arms back out, wings out nice and wide, like we could touch the wall with our fingertips. So, coming around slowly, we start to dive into a high lunge. So, come around just slow, make sure that you feel stable doing that. Then we're stepping back into a plank. And then from plank, either down into a frog pose or up into a down dog. So check how you're feeling, what's those energy levels like. In down dog, that real untucking of the pelvis and that lifting up through the hips towards the roof. And your knees, we're going to meet on all fours, and we're going to take just a couple of cat-cows, just checking that spine. Inhale, bring the chest forward. Exhale, mid-spine up towards the roof. And then just inhaling along and exhaling. Just keep that movement going, a few more. And bring it back to neutral, and we're going to take our left foot and step it up to the front of the mat, starting in that low lunge, so back knee down, back foot flatten, lifting up slowly, bring the upper body up, hips around towards the front of the mat and let the hands come down. We're going to reach the arms around behind us, link our fingers. Roll the shoulder blades down, bring the chest up towards the chin, and then the chin down towards the chest. Then releasing the arms, reaching them up, taking that right hand back to that right thigh and lifting through the front of the body. And right hand comes up, coming down. Let's wriggle that left foot back into tiger's tail, so like it's going to touch the back of our head. And lifting through the chest. And breathing, of course. Then that knee comes down, and we can either go into a frog pose or up into a down dog. Again, just finding what the energy level's like for you today. Easing our bodies, so easing out what we've just done. Meeting on all fours again, and right foot taking that step forward, low lunge, and then slowly bringing the upper body up, checking in, hips to the front. We're going to inhale, take our arms up, and then slowly reach them around behind, link the fingers, and just roll those shoulder blades down. Your chest lifts, chin comes down. Coming as far forward as feels good for your body through the hips, and then find your breath. Releasing the arms coming up, left arm going back to that left thigh, right arm lifts. Really feeling the spaces opening up in your body. Coming round and down slow, we're coming into that tiger's tail, that right foot. And again, just check in with your back, make sure it's still feeling all right. Sometimes we get to that second one and that lower back's like, not today. Knee comes down, both knees out, edge of the mat. Pull back through the hips, and as we do, we're going to thread our left arm underneath our right, looking along it, with this right arm away. Changing sides, really feeling the breath once we're there, moving under that collarbone and under the shoulder blade. And that relationship between the front and the back of the body and the breath. Wandering out, wandering in. So, you notice that so far we've gone kind of right round in that shoulder space in terms of the movement that we're trying to get into shoulders, okay? And that relationship of front and back of the body is often now, because a lot of people spend a lot of time like this, is that this shoulder starts coming around and this whole area gets tight. And so then we try and hold tension in the back of the body as well. So you've got this real pulling on the shoulder that can really lock it up. And I work with a few people who've had frozen shoulders along the way. And so we want to kind of be preventive in that, but we also want to feel like we can expand into the breath. Okay, so that's where we're going from being hunched up to really lifting. And so sometimes you might come out of yoga and think, oh wow, I've done something to my ribs. A couple of days later you might cough or laugh and think, oh, that's all this muscle lengthening and strengthening. Okay, so they're all postural as well, and so they're helping us kind of hold our body in a way that's got more ease to it. And so if you're wondering why we kind of move around so much in that, that's part of it. Then you've got what we're doing at the moment, which is that we're sitting back on our feet. Okay, so ankles. And in the last session, talked a little bit about the top of the foot, mobility in the way that we move our feet. Another thing that we can lose because we're often in shoes, we might even wear shoes in our house, we don't often wear bare feet, all the things that mean we walk on quite kind of flat paths, okay, and so we lose a lot of that mobility in our feet. And so in yoga we're doing as much as we can to kind of bring that back. So there I was on the top of my feet. Now I'm going to come into a favourite of mine, as you guys know, cowherd pose, because I'm strengthening my feet in this one. There's a lot of movement going on. Initially you might have your knees down, you might just be able to get your toes tucked under. Because this one as well, those of you that have had a little bit of plantar fasciitis, okay, so that inflammation of the fascia of the feet, we want to keep it long and supple and quite springy in our feet, right, so that we don't get that kind of injury, impact injury. And so this one's good for that. It's strengthening all through the feet. You've got to kind of see it happening. If you look down at your feet, you can see your feet from where you are. But also we're feeling like, oh, hang on, feet and hips and knees all connect up, right? And so this next kind of little sequence, we're going to play with the relationship between our feet and our hips and our knees. And so we're going to come up to standing. So whichever shape you're managing to make, bring yourself up to standing and come up kind of near the front of your mat so you've got some room. And we're going to do the housekeeping of our yoga mats along the way. We're going to scrunch our toes like we would at the start of a class sometimes. We're going to come up onto the ball of our foot and we're going to come back down. Now when you come up this time, see if you can feel what happens in your knees as you lift up onto the ball of your foot. And some of you might be able to feel your kneecap lifting up, little vastus muscles going, oh, my job. So come up. But if we try and do that with our knees locked, I can't actually lift up onto the ball of my foot very easily at all. So unlock your knees, especially if you're a knee locker, so you guys know who you are. You're going to do that and then try and come up on the ball of your feet. You're going to feel quite wobbly. So keep the knees quite soft, come up, feel what happens in the knee. Then we're going to come down and we're going to put our hands on our hips. So our hip joint, okay, so where our hip kind of comes into the pelvis, not up on our top of our pelvis, but down in here. And we're going to go up. You're going to feel movement under your hands and then down. And we're going to take our feet out to the toes, out to the edge of the mat. Heels come in. And we're going to do this a little bit carefully. We're going to come up onto the ball of the foot and we're going to come down into a little half squat and let the hands come down. Now, strong feet means that we can be quite stable in this. But if we've got that strength in the top of our knee, we can be quite stable in the knee. And then we can get our hips moving. Okay, so we can get that hip movement back. So bring your feet down. If you're struggling when we do some, as we come up, and when we do some of the untucking of the pelvis, it can be because we're so tight in that lower part of the body. When we're going to go do this, everything's kind of locking up. So we really want all of this strong and long. Okay, so we're going to take our feet a little bit wider, heels on the edge of the mat, toes pointing outwards. Before we even try and drop towards a squat, take the weight to the outside edge of your feet a little bit, just a little bit. Feel your knees go in that direction with them, okay? So drop back in and then open up. And what you're hopefully feeling up in the pelvis is this little kind of opening. We're making some room to be able to come into a squat. So we want to try and keep that as we take the tailbone backwards. So that as we come down to that halfway mark, you might notice my arch is lifted. To come back up. See if you can feel your arches lift as you start to come down. Weight to the outside edge. Aha! So tailbone goes back. We want to feel nice and stable as we bring the hips down. We can put something under our bottom, we can come halfway down, But here, we want to feel like, oh, I can move my toes. The weight can go to the outside edge of my feet. Don't worry if you're not there yet. Remember, can be a long-term kind of proposition to get us back into a squat. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come out through a forward fold. So we're going to bring our hands down, lift the hips. As you come up, you might notice that your feet want to come back into alignment with the edge of the mat. So do that. And then drop around into that forward fold. Loosen up those knees so that we can. And shoulders curl if it's feeling nice today. Let your shoulder work. Reach your hands around, let your fingers lift them up towards the roof. Let the head really drop. Then our arms come back down. Elbows onto thighs. Tailbone goes back halfway. And just come up slowly. So hopefully it makes sense as to why we pick on our feet quite so much. And just coming up onto the ball of a foot a little way. And then scrunch those toes. Then come up again, ball of a foot. And come down and scrunch those toes. Take a moment, the crew, just in our Tadasana. We've just got a little bit of an issue out the door, so I'm going to get you guys breathing for a moment while we sort that. We have wind today, team, so the neighbours having a few issues out there. It's all good, we don't need to go and help. So, front of the mat, Tadasana, breathing, feeling kind of centered and grounded on the mat. We're going to inhale, bring our arms up. Feel that openness in the shoulder, bring the hands down, halfway mark, half chair. And then around into a forward fold. Take a breath. Come up to that halfway mark. Let's gently extend along the spine, parallel with the floor. And then down we go. And we're going to take our right foot and step it back. High lunge this time, back heel goes back. Breathing into that space. Let's bring our upper body up. Tuck our hip under. Sink down through the hips. So we're going to feel like we're hips are parallel with the front of the mat. They quite often want to skew. So just coming down slow. We're going to inhale, bring our arms up. Keep them going. Big circle around. Link those fingers around behind you. Roll those shoulders down. This time our arms come off our back a little bit if they can, off our butt. Tuck the chin in, down towards the chest, chest up towards the chin. Releasing the arms, bringing them up. Right hand goes back to the right thigh, left arm lifts. Taking that gaze up if we've got our balance. And then that right arm lifts, so come up slow, come forward. We've got the option of a three-legged down dog here, team, so just that wriggle out of that left foot. We can be frog, we can be normal down dog, or we can extend that left leg back behind us and up. In down dog, so really lifting the hips. Foot comes down if you've been in that version. Come forward, lead on all fours. And then take that right foot, step it up. Tuck those left toes under behind you, come into the high lunge, pause there, find your breath. Up comes the upper body. We're setting ourselves up, so take your time. Sometimes in classes, people will kind of already throw their arms up in the air, and I'm like, no, just give yourself that moment. Be kind of intentional in your movement of your body into place. Then we can inhale, bring these arms up, circle them round behind us, link those fingers. Take the hands off the butt if we can, off the spine. Roll those shoulders down, tuck the chin down towards the chest. And then slowly inhaling, coming up with the arms, and left arm keeps going, back to that left thigh. Right arm lifts, take the gaze upwards if we can. And then slowly coming around and down. We've got that three-legged down dog option in the mix if you wish. Long, slow, deep breath, whichever pose you chose. Bringing ourselves back to all fours. And we're going to take that left knee and slide it up into the started pigeon pose. Left heel under the right foot. We're using it as a spine stretch first, so right leg slides back, hips come down. We were talking last week about making sure we don't drop to one side, crew. So it's practicing that, kind of what feels like it's leveling up those hips. Then we try to relax that left butt cheek to get that stretch happening at the same time as stretching along the spine. And down we go, just slow. Noticing your breathing, crew. Breathing it out, sinking into it that little bit more. Then as we come up, we're planting our right hand because it's our left hand going to our right foot. And so we're coming across the body this week with that knee. And so just come slowly with that foot. So your right foot coming across towards your left butt cheek. If you can grab that foot, otherwise wave at it, team. Releasing on that side. Come back slowly. We're going to leave our butt in line with our knees and walk our arms forward, bringing our heart towards the floor. Then coming up, onto the hands in, and we're changing sides. So, if we can get it to move, I'm going to bring that right knee forward, right heel under left hip. Spine stretch under toe tame if we can. So if you're feeling a little bit kind of worn in that lower back, let's come into the forward fold version straight away. Rolling shoulders down, lifting the chest. And then down we go, just easing our way into that forward fold. Lengthen out the breath. Try and relax that right butt cheek. Wandering up, planting that left hand, reaching the right hand around for the left foot. So we're coming across the body, left heel going towards that right butt cheek. And releasing slowly. As we come back, so we're going to slide back, we're going to bring our forearms onto the floor and link our fingers. We're going to walk our knees in under our hips. So we're not ending up in plank crew. We're going to pull back and stretch into the top of those arms. So we're not into pose of a child either, the butt is still well and truly in the air. Then we're coming forward, chin comes into alignment with your thumbs. And just check, we want our butt up in the air, we don't want to feel like we're turning into a plank. This is not plank. It's the start of a dolphin. So let's pull back again into that stretch, but this time we're going to exhale as we come back. When we're ready to inhale, we're going to come forward. And then exhale. And then inhale, pull it back. And exhale. Stronger crow, tucking those toes under. Lifting the hips. Inhale, come forward, but right up in the air. Exhale when you're in line with your thumbs. Otherwise, keep those knees down too. When we inhale and pull back, if you've got your hips up, it's like a down dog on our forearms. Again, just that inhale, exhale as we move. So just notice the movement, feel what feels good for your body. Last one of each. Coming into frog pose, crew, so find your way there. Stack the forearms, or maybe it's the fists to give yourself some space. Take a rest for a few breaths. Wandering the hands in and come around to seated and into our open cross-legged shape, and noticing whichever foot that's in front. We're just going to work into these feet again, that idea of flexibility and strength. And if picking your foot up feels a little bit too much, leave it on the floor and just kind of turn that ball of the foot up towards the roof as much as we comfortably can. If you're okay holding onto the leg and the foot, lift it up. And we're just going to make sure that hip feels nice and released. So lotus poses, we pop back in, and half lotus anyway. And when we get to a particular point with it, which is where we want to get to, the hip and the knee and the foot are really relaxed. Initially, one or all three might be the reason that we can't do this. Okay, so there can be all sorts of things going on. Some that we can work on, and others that might be old injuries that mean, no, this is never going to be what your body is comfortable in, or even able to be in. If you can, onto that calf muscle. And while we're there, we're going to take our arms out in front, turn the palms up, bring the fingertips onto the shoulders, and come around in some circles. Okay, pause. If you can, move that foot up into half lotus. And then if you can remember which way you circled, come around the other way. And release those arms. Let's take this foot, change it round. Start with that little kind of massage. Or turning over of the foot. Just see what it feels like. And then if we can, we pick it up. And we're just noticing. We're just kind of working with the noticing aspect of stretching. If you've rolled your ankle a lot, sprained it a lot, got kind of soft tissue damage, these ones can be really challenging, or even just ones that we can't practice. So just be aware of that, give your body that permission as we bring that foot onto our calf muscle. And we take these arms out in front this time, we're bringing them out nice and wide. We're just going to turn the palm up and roll the shoulders down, and then palm down, and then palm up. And just keep that movement going, just slow. If we can move that foot up into half lotus, do that. So that's the crease of our thigh. Arms again. We're going to reach up, inhale up. I'm going to exhale, bring this right hand down, over to that left side, over to that right side. Inhale up, exhale, over. Keep that movement going. Last one. Bring it back to center. Bring that foot down. Take both feet out in front. Give those legs a wee shake. So it's 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, that's generally. We're going to do a sequence laying down. And so just find your way down to the floor. And where we're starting from is our thumbs under our glutes and our feet up towards the roof. So find your way there once you've got, all the bits you need for Shavasana nearby. We're pushing our heels away, we're dropping the toes towards us. We're breathing, noticing the breath. And we're bringing our feet down, soles of the feet together. Knees drop out to the sides, arms reach up and over our head. Stretch it out, tuck the chin and make sure the back of the neck's nice and long. We're going to inhale, we're going to reach our arms back up towards the roof and then out nice and wide from our shoulders. Bring the knees back together, walk your feet out one heel either side of the mat. And then we're going to drop our knees on the exhale over to the left. Then inhale up, exhale the knees over to the right. So we've got a space between our feet, team, about as wide as the mat as we inhale up. And exhale over, just massaging into the hips and that lower back region a little bit. We're bringing it back to center, walk the feet in together, lift the butt up and over to the left, take those knees right into the twist, looking along that left arm, nice deep breath. Inhale, bring those knees back to center, hips back to center, and then hips go right, knees go left. But we're going to do a second part to this. So bringing the knees back up, bring the hips back to center. This one's for our IT bands. So we're going to take those hips and butt over to the left again. And take the knees right. So let's start in the twist. Anchor that left shoulder. Then we're going to extend that top leg, that left leg. So we're going to find the outside edge of that leg with our right hand. And then just start to stretch that leg out to the side of the mat. Pushing the heel away. We want to keep that left shoulder anchored. So left leg going over to the right. So we're in that twist. But as you push the heel away, you should be able to feel that IT band. So from the hip to the knee, all the way down to the ankle. There's another one that goes from the knee to the ankle. Nice deep, deep breath. Easing back through the twist, back up to center, bring the hips back to center, stretch your legs down along the mat, feel the difference left to right from that. This can be quite different, the two legs after doing that. Then we're going to even them up, so walk the feet in, bring the bum over towards the right side of the mat. Let those knees go left, just slowly. And then start to extend that right leg, that top leg. Find it with your left hand to give it some support. Keep that right shoulder anchored. Nice deep, deep breath as we push that heel away. Kind of finding the enough point. Quite an owie, it's a nervy stretch, this one. Ease those knees back on top of each other, then bring the knees back up slowly to center, hips back to center, soles of feet together, knees drop out to the side, so just give everything a chance to go back the other way. Reach the arms up and over your head, take a few breaths there. Starting to feel like the yoga is soaking in a bit deeper. And that's really what Shavasana is. It's a resting pose, but it's also that chance to not go flying off your mat with all these beautifully stretched out muscles and then injure yourself. And so we're just kind of preparing our mind for it. We want to feel, again, that sense coming back to being centered and grounded in your practice. We're going to bring our knees back together. We're going to bring our arms alongside the body. You can stretch your legs down along the floor if you wish. And bring the hands onto the tummy if it feels more comfortable. We're going to find our way into all the points that are touching the floor. Let yourself sink around them. A little bit deeper into the breath. So each exhale lets you just soften into rest. Each inhale is the energy for rest. Don't go to war with the mind if it decides, woohoo, party time. Let yourself soften. Let the breath just arrive.
And give the mind just that gentle job of observing the breath, observing that flow. And be gentle with it. Be gentle with everything as we settle in. A couple of minutes of silence, just being in the breath, in the amazing body that you're in. It's just done all that mahi, all that work. We're going to come into a slow count of the breath to bring you back gently. So count yourself through 8 slow breaths. As you do that, blink your eyes open into your space, like you're seeing it for the first time. Then what we're going to do is that we're just going to very slowly move ourselves up to seated. If you're going on to meditate, just come up and then turn everything off if you have to get on with your day. Come up slowly to seated. And we want to feel that line from the crown of the head down through the centre. So come back to, we started standing, we're going to finish seated. There's that feeling of being connected up. So think about the space that you're in, the place, your connection to place. Feel your sense of connecting to that so that we feel grounded and centered for our day ahead. And bring our hands down to the floor and just kind of imagine our connection down into the earth. If you're lucky enough to be practicing outside, that's a little bit easier, and then just let your shoulders drop, bring your breath into focus. If you're kind of sitting a mile from the earth, so you might be up in an apartment, think of a tree that you might see on your walk or outside your window, or a favourite tree that's maybe not even where you live. Think of those roots down into the soil. Feel like you can connect down, and then think of those branches reaching up to the sun, up to the cosmos. Feel like you can reach up at the same time. Feeling nice and plugged into all of that beautiful energy you've created. We're going to blink our eyes open. We're going to inhale, bring our arms up. Gather that energy in, bring it to the heart space. Whatever the rest of your day, the rest of your week brings, many blessings. Thank you for joining me all the way through today.